In the last couple of sections, we finished up our deployment configuration file and the new cluster IP service to go along with it. We're now going to continue by putting together two more almost identical configuration files, this time all centered around our Express API, or the multi-server image. Now we're going to make sure that we do a very similar cluster IP service this time around, because we do not want the Express API to be directly accessible from the outside world, as would normally be the case with a node port service. Remember, we use the cluster IP anytime that we want to make a set of pods only accessible to other things inside of our node. The ingress service that we're going to eventually put together qualifies as another thing inside of our node. All right, so one quick thing I want to remind you about here is that our multi-server image is always going to be listening for incoming requests on port 5000. And that was something that we had really hard-coded into the image itself and the actual server that's running inside there. So when we create our cluster IP service, we're going to make sure that it's going to forward traffic onto port 5000 on each of those different pods. And again, just to keep each port the same on both sides, we're going to say that you can access the cluster IP by accessing 5000 as well. Just as I said previously, there's really not a great reason at first glance to, for some reason, change the port that the cluster IP accepts traffic on. So we're going to make sure that it's 5000 in both cases. All right, so let's get to it. I'm going to flip back over to my code editor. Inside of my K8s directory, I'm going to make a new file, and I'm going to call this server-deployment.yaml. And then inside of here, we're going to put together some configuration that's going to look very, very similar to what we did in our client deployment just a moment ago. So we're again going to say API version, apps v1. We're going to have a type of deployment,